Help, I'm getting all syrup and no mix when I try to make a shake. What's my problem? Short answer up front, your pump's not pumping. If you already know where to locate your pump and how to clean it, you can stop right here and go ahead and get that taken care of, and it should get your shakes back on track. If not, stick around and we're going to show you in depth how to handle this situation and get your machine back to working properly.
Before we get started in this, I just wanted to take a moment to show you the tools you will need for this particular job. You'll need your tube of Carpi lube. This is the lubricant provided by Carpigiani that is formulated for your machine, and your O-ring removal tool. Whenever you hear me talking about removing an O-ring during this video, this would be the tool that you would use to do so. Yours probably doesn't have this lovely zip tie at the end. This is just what we use at the factory so that we can keep up with where they are. But it is helpful to have something on yours at your location, just because being a flat piece of stainless steel, this hides really well in most McDonald's kitchens. So anything to help you be able to locate it will help you out. But that should be all you need to perform the functions we're about to talk about. All right, the first thing we're going to need to do is stop the machine. You'll do that just by pressing the stop button and hold it until the machine stops. You'll see just your date and time on the screen, and we can go up top and take a look at our pump. Now, this is a view of your pump inside the machine with your metal tube attached. Since we've got our machine stopped now, we're going to go ahead and take that tube loose. It just pulls forward. Notice I didn't pull on this section that's going down into the mix. I hold it firm and pull back only on this. With that loose from the pump, we'll turn it slightly away. Now it's still locked in the bottom, so all of our pressure, if there were any, is still in the cylinder. We now just have our stick here turned so that it's facing the front of the machine. It could be in any other position. We're just turning it toward the front so that we can use it as a visual for the test. Now, while you've been working on the machine, it is possible you're going to see this Y and stop message. If that occurs, you're just going to press your reset button and let it go. That will stop that beeping and stop the Y and stop message from appearing. You're back to just your date and time, and you can continue with your testing. Now, in order to start your pump, you're just going to press the center lock button and let it go. And you'll see your message for beater and pump on. Now we can take a look up top and see how our pump's doing. To test the operation on the pump, it looks like this right now when I hit that center lock button. Yeah, see, we have absolutely nothing coming out of our pump, so we need to remove that and clean it. Okay, so you need a little extra help with the pump. For starters, this is what the pump looks like up close. Now, your pump can be plastic, or your pump can be steel. We're going to use the plastic one in this video just because that's what the unit I'm working on happens to have in it. What you'll need to know is this pump pumping? A way to visually test is when you disconnect the tube from the front, a stream of mix should come out of the pump and over the end of this stick without touching. If there's no mix coming out from here, or it's hitting this stick, you have an issue, and that's what's causing your machine to only give you syrup and no mix when they're trying to draw a shake. That's because your syrups have their own pumps. You'll need to clean this in order to get things working properly again. And I'm going to show you how to disassemble it to make that happen. For starters, we'll turn this so that this notch lines up with this post, and we can remove the white pickup tube. There is a green O-ring on this pickup tube. that O-ring needs to be removed, cleaned, clean behind it, reinstall it, and lube the exposed portion. You really want to make sure that this O-ring gets lubed, because this is one of the places that the pump could draw air instead of product, and that would cause it not to pump. Inside the pump, you have a spring and a pressure cap. You're just going to remove those and clean them as well. On the back of the pump, you have an orange pump seal. You'll remove that. This too needs to get cleaned and lubricated. Inside the pump, which you access by removing these two metal thumb screws, you'll have the O-ring and the gears. The gears will remove by just pulling them straight out. I turn this one and aim down a little bit so that it'll drop into my hand. Now, this is one of the main O-rings. Again, you'll remove, clean the O-ring, clean behind the O-ring, reinstall it, and lube the exposed portion. You don't need to worry about lubing the gears. You're only going to lube rubber parts. To demonstrate on this one, we're going to go ahead and lube this up. Now, I'm not sure how well you can see the lubricant on camera here, but all you're looking for when you do this is you want to see smear lines in your lubricant. If that O-ring is just shiny, that's not enough lubricant. If it's globbed on, that's way too much. So we just want to put enough to leave smear lines in that lubricant, and then we'll know that we have enough on it. Now I'm putting these thumb screws back on, and what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to just take a paper towel and use it to get a better grip on these thumb screws. I just want to make sure that they are good and snug, because if not, the halves of the pump here can pull apart and you'll draw air through that. And we already know that if you're drawing air instead of product, you're not going to get the proper shakes. Let me go ahead and lube this O-ring as well. Now, it doesn't matter where this stick is turned to. The pump should work with this in any one of these positions. Since it doesn't actually matter, I tend to leave mine pointing forward away from this hole. Let's give you the look of it as it would be in the machine. I leave it forward away from this hole so that I can use it as a visual test. The stream of mix should be going over the end of the stick without touching. I've got one last seal to lubricate. That's this orange one here. This one happens to get lubricated all over instead of just on the exposed portions. This is the only one in the machine that does that. And it's the only orange one you will encounter when dealing with the pumps, so it's pretty easy to remember. All right, we'll get this installed back in the machine and show you what a pump looks like when it is working. Our pump is back in place now. We're going to do another test. I'm just hitting that same center lock button. nice solid stream coming out. I'm going to move the camera down here a little bit so that you can get a better view. See, we have no problem now getting past that, the end of that stick without touching. That's exactly what we're looking for in terms of pump pressure. So I'll reconnect our tube, and we should start to get shakes now. Okay, to reconnect the tube, we're just going to aim it right back at the front and pop that back in place. Now, pay attention to the little holes that are on each side of the metal tube. When we start the pressure now, that tube is connected. When that cylinder gets completely up to pressure, we're going to start to see mix come out of those little holes. You can see the dripping now coming from those little holes. That tells us that we are up to full pressure and we're ready to try a shake.
All right, if you've been following along, then we've got everything reassembled and we're ready to test our shakes and see if everything is back to normal. And there you go. Now we have shake and syrup just as we intended. If you're having any other issues or this didn't take care of your problem, please feel free to give us a call at the number on the bottom of the screen and we'll be happy to help you in any way we can. Till next time.